Hello, loves. I'm Cashel. I'm back from the raw and real of my entrepreneurial story and why I chose to basically get out of the 9 to 5 as an x ray tech and decided to work on my own and become an entrepreneur. So here's this tea. So basically, y'all, first of all, how's your day going? Hopefully, everybody's doing well. Um, it's been a lot just as of late. I'll get into my story in a hot second, but as of late, just been dashing, things here and there to pay the bills and packaging my orders. I have a ginger juice subscription VIP membership, so I've been busy with that. But then trying to get enough sleep and rest, it's been a little struggle as of late, but nothing major. I'm thankful that I'm able to get up and be up in 2025. So that's a blessing. But yeah, y'all. So let me get into the tea of why I decided to go from working my sure pay job as an x-ray tech to becoming a entrepreneur. And for those who are entrepreneurs, it's a struggle. So why did I choose to jump into that race? So here it goes. In 2020, at the time I was separated from my husband, and um, I was looking for a job. So I got to be a lot living in Dubuque, Iowa. Um, I was working PRN as an x-ray tech. Really wasn't bringing in the money that I felt like I should have been bringing in for the schooling I had. And I was working odd jobs then. I was doing Lyft. I was doing some part-time at Nordstrom, and then still doing some things at home instead. So it was just not. I shouldn't be working these three jobs really. If I have a job that I went to school for, at least that was my mindset. And working PRN, I was the lowest man on the totem pole. So full part time was not coming no time soon, and full time was definitely not in my viewpoint at the time, in my vision. Okay, because again, I was the last one to be hired, so there was plenty of people there waiting for part-time positions and full-time. So anyway, moving to with my mom for that time period, looking for a job, and so I happened upon this job that basically deals with pain. I'm not going to say the company's name, but I had never worked obviously in that field. I had just been just a general X-ray tech, X-ray and doing fluoroscopy and different in the surgery suites and things like using the C-arm. But in this particular field, was definitely different and new, and they were the only ones that had reached out to me at that time. So putting in, obviously applications to become or to be, work at different hospitals. So anyway, I got this job and I was really excited because it was new to me. It's like working with people with pain. Like, oh, okay, how's this? So, um, yeah, I jumped right into it. Definitely let them know that I had not had this type of experience. So it was training um, that was needing to happen, poor training today. And what I've noticed even today is that um, you get into these jobs and they don't give you proper training. They literally are just kind of walking you through, kind of on the job training a little bit, but not, a lot of times you're just being thrown in and being given instructions as you go. And yeah, I'm not used to that, especially when you're talking about, pain and having to be at certain placements with your C arm and things like that. That's not something you can just throw me in there and just, I'm going to pick up eventually, obviously, because the redundancy of the things that I was doing was going to click eventually, but it was a lot to grasp. So I had this one particular doctor. It was three doctors I was working with, and I was part time even there. So I was glad to be part time. I was making like $27 an hour, so I was doing very well. And I started working there, and literally I felt like I was going back to school. I knew the different anatomies for the back and things like that. But again, when you're working in pain, it's a different scenario. It's not x-ray per se, what I was used to doing. So you all jumped in there, had this, I was trained for probably all of a week. the young lady who trained me was about to go into surgery. She would not be available for the next, let's say, 3 weeks because she needed to heal. So there was quite a few sites that I would be traveling to. So she took me to those sites, and we was traveling, probably the first day or two to the different sites, and where I could possibly be going from day to day. So I wasn't going to be really stationary in just one building or one part of um, Indiana. It was literally 3 or 4 different buildings I would be traveling to. So anyway, that was fine. Met all 3 doctors, and they were phenomenal because they went to school to be anesthesiologists. All of them were anesthesiologists working in the field of pain. Okay. And so I got to know one doctor in particular because I seemed to have to go back to this clinic, and I think it was in Munster, Indiana. And he pretty much took me under his wing. Um, he was very, very, very efficient. And while I'm working aside beside him, because that's what I got hired to do, I had to be on top of it. I had to know where to go, these different procedures, and it was quite a few of them. I had to really learn them and learn where I'm supposed to direct the C arm. And baby, it was a lot. It was like I was going back to school. He gave me one of his school books to learn and to study from. So every night I'm coming back from the job. I'm learning new things, but I'm actually studying because, first of all, he was a type of doctor that did not play. Um, and I had to be on it. And he did not mind embarrassing people. I had seen him embarrass people, and people be in tears. Now I'm not one to be crying in no job. I probably rather fight than be in somebody's, like, don't be, not that I'm gonna fight nobody, so don't get that twisted. But I'm just saying I'm not the type. I have pretty much hard skin, so it would take a lot for you to make me cry as my employer, so, or my boss. So that wasn't gonna happen. But he had been known to be this type of doctor. Um, so I was pre-warned. uh, as I got to know some of my coworkers. But anyway, it was a job that was very intense. I did enjoy it because it was different part or sector of X-ray that I had never been introduced to. Um, and it wasn't the traditional X-ray that I had went to school for and had done at Mercy Hospital when I was in Dubuque, Iowa. So it was quite interesting. So I went there, and every night I was coming home studying, just making sure that the next day I knew what I was talking about, I knew where I need to be, and each doctor had their own style. So you can imagine how it was different. Each procedure obviously was the same. Okay, so the doctors are not changing the procedure, but how they wanted me to set up and where they wanted me to be. And it was different for 3 doctors. Thank God it was just only 3. So I had to learn each of their ways, okay, and learn the different spaces and the different procedures um, of this job. So it was very taxing. But again, I enjoyed it. So I got along with I got along with everybody. It was just one guy I would bump heads with. Um, and he was also, he was not a anesthesiologist, but he was whatever it was before you got your doctorates. Okay. So he was that. And he was just very bossy, very rude, the way he would talk to you. And I am the type of person that'd be like, okay, first of all, if you're talking to me, you can address me. I don't like to be talked at. So that was an issue for him because it wasn't for me. Because if I'm talking to you, I'm going to say your name and I'm going to address you. So you won't be like, are you talking to me? But it was like that with him. He could not remember to say my name. Um, and if he was talking to me, it wasn't even like, hello. It was just straight to, you need to do A, B, and C. So if you're not addressing me by my name, I'm not paying attention to you. Because I'm not a hey, I'm not a you, hey you, or I'm Kashel. So he would get ignored. And he was nobody of any type of rank. He was my coworker. Period. So he had a problem with that. He's like, did you not hear me? I said, were you addressing me? And yes, I was talking to you. I said, okay, so let me let you know that if you're addressing me, my name is Kashel, and you can call me Kashel. Said, so if you're addressing me and there's plenty of people in the room and you're talking to me, you're wanting to talk to me, then you need to say my name. So please don't talk at me because I'm not going to pay attention, because if you're talking to me, I think it's rude to not directly say my name and other people in the room just for you to assume that I'm that I know that you're talking to me. So that was that. I could tell that he felt some type of way by me saying that, but that was his problem, because I'm just telling you, like, if I'm talking to you, I'm going to say, hey, so and so, how you doing, or whatever, and greet you, and then I'm going to tell you what it is that I need to talk to you about because we work together. So anyway, that was that. So we bumped heads a little bit. I could tell that he didn't like really my message and the way that I was talking to him, even though it wasn't rude, it was just straightforward, and I'm a very straightforward person. So anyway, at the end of the day, all was well. I was getting to know the doctors, really loved all the different doctor styles, and was learning their styles. So I came in, but coming in the door, they literally threw me in. So that first week was just, basically getting to know the doctors, getting to know my coworkers, getting to know the different sites that I probably would be, visiting. After that, it was now getting to know the procedures. Okay. And so again, every night I'm studying, because I did not want this particular doctor to be put me on a spot and I didn't know nothing that he was talking about. So it made me to be on top of my stuff. Okay. And for me to quickly get it. So all was well. I didn't have any problems. This doctor actually would quiz me before procedures, and the person was on the table waiting to be taken care of, and some of the people who were keeping the time, some nurses, like, hey, Dr. So and so, I'm not gonna say his name, we're supposed to start, or we're about to start, or it's been 10 minutes, and he's like, yeah, okay. And most doctors, if you don't know, if you ain't been in the medical scene, if you ain't worked with doctors, a lot of them have this arrogance about them. Um, and this kind of God thing about, like, I'll start when I start and everything starts when I get in the room. So he had that. Okay. And quite a few of them had it too. But he was just more outward with his. Okay. So he would quiz me like, okay, so we're going to do this. So tell me what procedure, is such and such and such, because they had acronyms and I had to know the acronyms. I had to know where he was going to start and where he was going to end, what I needed to shoot. I mean, it was a lot, but I was on top of it, okay? Because I had to be, because I'm not about to be embarrassed. So like I said, I'm working hand in hand with him as his x-ray tech, okay? So I had to be on top of it. I had another coworker who was helping me. If they had two of us in the room, he was helping me, but I got thrown in the first week. So when they introduced me to these doctors, the second week, they literally just had me a lot of times in there by myself, as if I had already been oriented and knew exactly what I was doing, and I didn't. So I'm coming in the rooms like saying, "Hey, good morning." They just kind of threw me in. It just kind of felt really weird saying that, but I just want them to know that I have not, this is the first time I've been working in this field. I am an x-ray tech, but I've never done pain management before. And so I'm going to need a little guidance, okay? Because the training from the doctor came later as I started to get to know stuff, and I made that disclaimer to him as well. So he immediately kind of jumped on, study this, and then giving me things to study. So then I was more proficient. So about time the girl came back, the young lady came back, it was time for my reevaluation, just to see, or my evaluation to see how I was doing. And she gave me the evaluation, and baby, if you want to say A's, I got all A's. If you want to say that I was proficient, yes. About time she got back, I was proficient. I knew the basics. I knew everything that I need to do and know for this job. So I did it, and I was there for about a good 6 months. That 6 month came, and I got I have let me just say this, I have bumped heads for a minute with the manager. She was an Indian woman, and she was the COO. Her sons were underneath her. They were both anesthesiologists, and then she had this other doctor who was not, akin to her. And I had bumped heads with her younger son because I came into procedure, and he did not really know what he was doing. There was a lot of rumors that there was like he kind of misses, hitting some misses with this procedures, and I'm like, okay, so he tried to blame me for something that he did wrong. Of course, he came to me afterwards, just like, Cashel, come in here, kind of yelling at me after the so. I came in the room and he addressed, he's like, what was that? You should have known this and that. And I told him, I said, I can't know what you're supposed to know. I didn't go to school to be an anesthesiologist. I said, there's a part of this procedure I'm supposed to know, but then there's a part that you're supposed to know. I said, so you tell me where to go. I'm supposed to automatically know. If you say, S1, T3, T4, whatever, I know where to go. I said, but I can't know different aspects of what you're supposed to know. I'm following your directions. I said, so please do not blame me for your mishaps with this lady. Um, so just those words alone, I didn't know behind the scenes things were taking off and was not looking good for me. So again, I had never bumped heads with nobody. We had that one bumping of heads, and I'll say bumping of heads because he was telling me what he had to tell me, and I was telling him what I needed to tell him. And let me say this: a lot of these people and doctors are not used to being told. They're used to being told, telling somebody off, but not nobody responding or just kind of sitting back because they're Dr. So and so. I'm not that person. I don't care who you are, unless you are the most high. If you're wrong, I'm gonna say you're wrong. I'm not gonna sit there and take it all because you're Dr. So and so. So that was a problem for him. So he went back and told his mommy, and 6 months later, I was called into HR and basically given my papers to sign, saying, hey, yeah, we're releasing you. And I was like, what happened? And I was going through, it was, they was like, well, we just need you to sign and we need you. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Believe me, I was shocked. I was like, because I was in a procedure and they pulled me from the procedure to tell me to go to HR. So I'm thinking, like, what am I going to HR for? I knew the HR lady. So I'm not worried. I'm like, okay, it's interesting. No, they didn't pull me from this procedure. What's happening? Like, are they going to tell me somebody called and passed away from my family? I don't know what was going on. Okay. She called me in to fire me, basically tell me that, yeah, we're gonna let you go because we was observing you in one procedure and you didn't really know what you were doing. And she's reading off the paper, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, what? Where is this coming from? I didn't know what procedure. What is going on? And she said the one you did last Sunday. I mean last Saturday. And I'm like, this particular procedure. I said, who was in there observing me, and where was I scrutinized? I did everything I was supposed to do. And she was like, well, that's not what they're saying. So she showed me the paper, and baby, they had a list. They had papers of what, they had one that I had actually got into a fight with someone. Can you imagine me fighting someone and I still am able to come back to work? No papers being signed, nothing, no talking about a fight. I'm fighting people. I didn't get along with nobody. This is what they were saying. I didn't get along with the doctors. The doctors didn't like me. My coworkers, I was constantly getting into it with my coworkers. Now, I just told you one coworker. And that was on maybe two incidents that we had words, but not words like, I'm not cursing nobody out now. I am professional. So, but words just like, hey, no, I don't like that. I don't like if you're talking to me, because we still had words on him approaching me the way he would just talk at me. But that was it. So they came to me with all that, and I'm looking at these papers. I said, who is writing this and not even give my permission? So I'm talking to HR lady. She sent this to me, and I'm like, so and so. Let's just say her name's Kathy. I'm like, Kathy, this don't even make sense. I said, so if I was fighting somebody, why wasn't I confronted? Why wasn't I told about this or written? I said, this is all falsification. This is lies. These are all lies. I'm looking through this, and I'm almost near and tearing up because I could not believe that they had a paper trail on me on falsifying everything. I mean, crazy. So they were like, we're gonna have the police officers. I said, I don't need to be escorted out the building by police officers. I said, I would get my stuff and I would leave. I'm not signing these papers. She wanted me to sign. I'm not signing these papers. I said, well, I was just really in disbelief. And outside was snowing, like almost blizzardy. So I'm trying to keep my mind right, getting home from where I was, and couldn't wait to go home and tell my mom what was happening and that I literally just got fired out of the blue. So I said all that to say that's why I decided I'm not working 9 to 5 anymore. I'm going to work for myself. And at that time, I went to marketing. I took some courses of, it's called Modern Millionaire. That was one course. And I took that because I said, I cannot be in a position where this happens to me again. So I need to be in control of my own life, my own career, where nobody's able to be lying on me and I fought it. I went to unemployment, and they, of course, was not going to give me unemployment because they were like, she was incompetent. I had papers that said that I was competent. Remember that that evaluation? Baby said I was good. I knew what I was doing. She's on top of it because she had to observe me now from training me that 1 week to now coming back 3 or 4 weeks later and seeing what I was doing. So at the end of the day, it was just horrific. And at that time, I had decided I'm no longer going to be working for any businesses like this in order to gain wealth or move up on the ladder, because that was the worst experience of my life. And then this is during COVID, so unemployment was like swamped. So when I applied for unemployment, it took months. And then when they did get in contact with me, they were like, you denied. So then you got to go back in, and basically I had to fight the fact that they fired me because I was incompetent. That's what they put. And that was really a jab, like incompetent. 6 months later, and even after the eval, that y'all telling me because I had two evals, okay, and both of them said that I was doing good. So I had to present that paper to my unemployment, fax the stuff in, because it's not like we're sitting down. And I won the case, and they eventually gave me my unemployment, to the point was about time my unemployment was released, I got literally about $10,000. No, I lie, not 10,000. It was probably about 7,000, because it was a long wait during COVID. Everybody was trying to get unemployment because either they had been told they're gonna work from home, or whatever the case may be, laid off, whatever. Um, so I was in that group. So it was a blessing in disguise, but it really made me to look at the job and people, and like, wow, I didn't know that people could be so nasty and harsh and lie on you about your competency, how well you doing your job. And it was all from this one lady who I got into it with her son. This was her. This was her doing. So people can be nasty, and I could not have fathomed that people could be so nasty. Don't even really know you. She just knows my name. She knows of me as a new hire at that time, and she didn't like me from her son's experience of me and me correcting him. So all this came from her. So that's when I decided, no, I can't do this. I need to, because my paying my bills and taking care of my family is in the hands of somebody else who can decide when they can drop me, because I was working at an at-will job, and most jobs today are at will. They can fire you for any reason. And so for that not to happen to me, I needed to take control of my own life in that way. And so that's when I decided I'm going to be an entrepreneur. At the time, I didn't know exactly what I was going to go into, because I had internet marketing. I had just a lot of stuff that was in my head. And then after that particular course of Modern Millionaires, what I went into. And so that's my story. So come back the next tomorrow. And I'm on day 4 of the fast. I'm doing well. Again, it's no eating solid foods. I just had bone broth. Okay. And I've been drinking I just made some ginger juices. I've only had like literally one of those. So I don't know if I really want to just be bailing out on ginger juice. But at the end of the day, I know I have not eaten any foods, and I feel okay. I feel okay. I mean, of course, I'm not jumping up and down the stairs and running up and down the stairs, but I am doing some Ubering and some dashing. So that's a nice little bit of exercise, but I'm good. So day 4, keep rooting for me, y'all. Thank you so much. And the next week we'll go back and do some measurements and to see where I am at the time, because we did some measurements I think 2 or 3 days ago. So we're going to do some more measurements just to see how much weight am I losing, or inches I'm losing. Okay. Thank you all for being here with me. Come back for the raw, real Cashel. All right. Be well.